Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Global Fusion Music and Arts evening of poetry, music and spoken word. As usual, we've got some wonderful performers this evening. And our guest is Andrew Ogilvie, aka Doug Berry. Andrew is well known to GFMA. I'm looking forward to listening to his work and speaking with him later. Well, what a wonderful evening, everybody, so far, and now it's going to carry on and get better. So Andrew and I are, we have prepared some bits and some other bits we haven't really, but we're going to, I know Andrew very well because we've worked together in plays and poetry evenings, so that should be good anyway, we should know each other. So first of all, I want to say thank you. Coordinated. We are.
Without even trying.
Without even trying. I mean, what more can you say, really?
I know what she's going to say next.
I'm going to say thank you to everybody for speaking so far. Do you want to read it? So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has performed so far, actually, because it's really been a terrific evening, if not unknown, really, in the street as well. Nearly in the pub, we could hear it at least. So we're moving now to our guest, who is live with me in the studio. Good evening.
Good evening.
This is Andrew Ogilvie, aka Doug Berry, a performer, writer of plays, poetry, song, and screen. Now, should I say Andrew or Doug? Do you want to explain that to us?
Yeah, get that one out of the way.
Yes.
It's a bit pretentious, but Andrew is my Christian name, and I use that as a writer, but it's a bit more serious. But I then use the name Doug as more of a social, or when I'm performing. It's an abbreviation or derivation of Dogberry when I play Dogberry in Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh right, yes.
And I wanted to go underground with it because I had to. They had a Facebook page, and I just wanted to go underground. So I used Dogberry because it wasn't a dog. And then my niece found it, and then everyone just sort of naturally started calling me Doug, and I liked it. I thought it was just a bit easier, and I stuck with it, and people still do. So I answer to both, Ros.
Answer to both.
Answer to
lovely.
both. Well, the Doug and the berry, the performing is the berry.
Oh yes, yeah.
Or the beret. So.
Oh yeah, let's have that on now.
Let's have
in the performance mode.
There we go. Yeah, so that's the full Doug Berry.
Full Doug Berry. It's just
berry in his beret. There we go.
How do you expect me to keep a straight face and talk to you?
Let's give it a go.
So, do you want to tell us first of all a bit about what we're going to be hearing tonight and
what
we're going to be doing, because it's quite interesting.
Yeah, well, there's quite a bit. So we've got a bit of video footage showing stuff I've written and performed in.
Yes.
I'll do some live readings as well, and answer any questions that you may have.
Great.
And yeah. See
that's
how
lovely.
it goes. Yeah.
Because later on, if you're agreeable to it, we'd like to open up questions to all people who've been watching when we get to that bit.
Sure.
So think up anything that you would like to ask Andrew or Doug or his Berry or anything really.
Yeah.
And we'll come to that bit later. So I think we're going to go to a video first. This is a compilation, is it? This is a compilation of a lot of stuff I've done with GFMA and a couple of other bits as well. A trailer for a short film I've written as well. Look at that.
No, it's gone. Sorry, there's a technical problem.
It's gone. It's very fast, isn't it?
Yeah, it was very good, wasn't it? It was just, yeah. Hang on, I'll have to get it back because it's still.
This is, I think Louisa put this together.
She did, yeah.
And tell us what's in it. So
well, I've seen it once, so it's a bit like Generation Game. I think it was a bit before. There was
Bracken Jackson, you have heard Sergeant Oldbock's evidence. What do you have to say for yourself?
Well, sir, it's just a song, sir, about an officer, and it goes like this.
Please, spare me the song. But you were talking about Lieutenant Owen, and you did use his name, Wilfred.
Well, sir, I think I did, sir. It's the song, sir. It wasn't about Miss Stroke, about any officer. You just put the name in it. It wasn't insubordinate, sir.
Using the officer's name without addressing it with him by his proper rank was insubordinate. And apparently, you laughed as well, in an insubordinate way.
No, sir, I promise, sir. It wasn't in an insubordinate manner, sir. I was laughing at the song, sir. You know, it was a bit funny.
Yeah. Let's fill my off any greedy bastards. All right then. It's weird, you never got for charge before.
Yeah, you've been on enough. I tried you loads of times.
Yeah, remember that time I shut in the mess tins? You gave me back the queue saying anything like the look of the food. Yeah.
So how many times have you gone for accidentally discharging your weapon?
I've never had one of them. What? You think I'm a rubbish packing soldier? I've never fired my weapon accidentally.
You got done for accidentally discharging your rifle to the back of an officer's head.
That wasn't no fucking accident. Boogle was a danger to himself and to his men. To my friends, Boogle would never been a danger to the enemy. And I didn't shoot through the back of the head. Too bleeding obvious. I got him through his equipment, sort of hanging shot, so it looked like an accident. Didn't kill the bastard though, should have done. And then he would have wasted all the medic's time. Still, he has a nice permanent injury to remind himself of his war effort. Ah, that proud working women of Woolwich. What will be tonight, ladies?
Oh, Maddie, what are you drinking, Mary? I'll have half a... Ooh, just a sherry, I think. Don't be silly, have half a bit of wine, Anne.
Well, I'm going to have a port and lemon. No, I've half a stout.
Is she always this indecisive?
Not when it comes to some things.
You all better make it live yourselves now and let me have those seats. We need to get this bus moving. You too as well, lady.
And why should I move? I'm not that well. Most folks in this bus are probably in better health than me. I'm entitled to this seat just as much as anybody else.
Don't you know you're now sitting in the seat that rightfully belongs to a white person? And we've got white people coming on wanting to take this. I just want to go home.
Rightfully belong? Who in the name of the good Lord even says that?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Global Fusion Music and Arts and the Lady Ross Society's World Folk Music Festival, funded by the Lewisham Borough of Culture.
To the International Sociology Connecting Hub, connecting you with the rest of the world. Chuck, are you prepared?
Chuck, mate, are you all right?
Chuck?
It's looking like another fine day here in the good old US of A. Got yourself enough paper.
This has been a very traumatic experience for me.
Listen up, recruits! Drop and give me 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
What have we just been watching then?
Well, some plays. All About Boys, written by Bob, and produced by Global Fusion. What else was there? That was the last section. From Jimmy Carr's quiz show. Trailer from a short film I've written. Hunter wrote. What else? Canaries, Louisa's Canaries, lived on the right three. Pantomime. I think that was it. Yeah, so it's quite a bit. Yeah. Legend of Luigi,
When did you start writing?
Yeah, I probably didn't start really writing until I left school. I didn't have a very good time in secondary school, really. I think it's quite well, not very inspirational, you could say. And it wasn't until afterwards I started maybe putting experiences into words. But I did write something about that time when I was at school, and I've written it in sort of retrospective as a reimagined version of when I went to see the careers officer. And I thought, all right, he's going to tell me exactly what I can do with my life from now on. And it, I get out of school and, get on with my life. 5 minutes later, I was shown the door. So that was about the extent of it. And I'll read this now, which sort of maybe puts into words what happened. So it's called. I'm from Coventry, by the way. So this was I left school in the early '80s, and it wasn't a very nice time. You either joined a YTS or you joined Maggie's Millions, and social upheaval, and it wasn't a pleasant time. It was an interesting time, it was exciting times, a lot of interesting stuff going on, but in terms of work. Anyway, this was called, or is called, Fit for the Factory Floor, a 1983 visit to the career advisor. So what can I be? A famous footballer, singer in a band, or appear in film or on TV? Come in, Sonny, we won't waste your time. I can clearly see there's only one place for someone like you to be. Oh yes, my thoughts exactly. Yes, the factory floor, that's where. Operating industrial machinery. The factory floor? Yes, fit for the factory floor you are. Fit for the factory floor, you'll see. Fit for the factory floor, that's all you'll ever be. Oh, but I'm not sure that's what I want to do. And would like to hear other suggested ideas with avenues to explore. Well, that's not my job. I just say what I see. And all I can say is, this is now the path for you, Sonny. As fit for the factory floor you are, fit for the factory floor. You'll see, fit for the factory floor, that's all you'll ever be. But I want to do more with my life than that. I don't know what exactly. I thought that's what I'm here today for. Well, you see, this here place, Coventry, is an engineering city. And sweat and swore for what keep in motion its industry. So just be grateful, shape up and grab any opportunity. With 3 million unemployed, there are not many jobs around, you see. Oh, but now, there's the door. If you would so kindly please leave. I wish you all the very best, but sorry, can't chat any longer, as I've still got many more like others like you to see. So I'm to be scrapped here at 16 with my whole life in front of me. I haven't even started, and you haven't yet looked at my CV. I don't need to, I've seen it all before. Now come on, Sonny, and I promise in time, you'll actually laugh aloud and be thanking me. As fit for the factory floor you are. Fit for the factory floor. You'll see. Fit for the factory floor. That's all you'll ever be. Fit for the factory floor you are. Fit for the factory floor. You'll see. Fit for the factory floor. That's all you'll ever be. So that, yeah, so that was my life mapped out in front of me.
That just captures it, doesn't
Hmm.
it? What you've said there, you
I-
don't get a chance to speak, and it's just, you know,
Yeah, I
told
think,
to you like that.
yeah, I think they wanted to produce robots. That's really what it was.
Yes.
So yeah, that was my reflection of that. Anyway, eventually I went on to get re-educated after moving down to London.
Yes.
And then I went on to study Chinese medicine following that. And one assignment we had to describe or creatively describe or illustrate the work of yin and yang, the philosophy of opposites.
Yes.
And I ended up writing a series of poems about it, which was I found quite liberating, and you know I really got into it.
Yeah.
A slight inspiration was Spike Milligan, the Hey Nanny Nong. I can't remember the one.
Ning Nang Nong.
The Ning Nang Nong, that's the one. Yeah. So this is about yin and yang. It's called Yin Yang, merrily on high and miserably on low.
Hmm.
To describe the work of yin and yang, or yang and yin, well, where shall I begin? You could say that things that are bright and round are yang, and flat and dim are yin. Or a rush for the bush is yang, while to wait as three comes along's yin, and one follows the other, so neither can win. Or a cock-a-doodle-doo's yang and a twit-to-woo's yin. Okay, just one more. Ah, never again. Or a bang is yang, and those who keep it in yin. But all's relative. And when something is yin within yang or yang within yin, well, that's when the real fun begins.
It's fantastic. I mean, that's such a contrast, isn't it, from
Yes,
your early
yeah.
life and then moving
Yeah.
into this, and something about
Just-
you finding education within
And
there.
just the opportunity to be creative without being sort of institutionalised or, you know, being too academic.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that's sort of liberating. You obviously, I think any creative people actually feel that.
But it's a wonderful thing to have moved yourself from that position of being told this is your
Yes,
lot,
yes.
actually, and you not
Yes.
holding to
No,
that, you finding
no.
something else.
Well, I mean, all the industry's gone, so that, you know,
yes.
I
Had you been
I jumped before being pushed, really, I suppose.
Yeah. Yes, that's
Mm.
fabulous. Do you want to tell us about your involvement with GFMA? Because it's a long
Yeah.
while, isn't it? And you've done an awful lot.
Yeah, that's an interesting story.
Yes, that would be lovely.
Well, I was minding my own business one sunny Sunday afternoon, I think, at the Charlton House
Oh, yeah.
with the fete going on at the back, and I was just walking up towards the band to get a better view, and then this crazy lady came rushing up to me and shoved a script or something in my hand and says, "Do you want to be in a play about the Wool poet Wilfred Owen?" I backtrack. I must have looked like a squaddy or something, had my shorts on or whatever. Anyway, Louisa, this person was,
Really?
who I know to have method in her madness. So, and then she told me about the play that was being put on by GFMA and written by Bob Fanshawe. And then I went round to your their house and met Bob and yourselves. And Bob told me about the play, and that he had me possibly down for a certain character.
You were scouted, really.
Scout?
You
I was
know,
I was
let's
press
use the
ganged.
word.
I was press ganged.
It's
I
good
didn't.
stuff, you know.
Anyway, so I was given a script, and I think I was about to go on holiday. So I said, I'm going to go on holiday, have a think about it. And I remember working out how many lines there were this character was going to have to say. He also had to sing and play a musical instrument, a penny whistle or a harmonica. So, you know, it was a bit of a leap of faith, really. But the character was, and the play was so great that he reminded me of Oz out of Auf Wiedersehen, Pet. I don't know if you remember him.
Yes.
Bit of a character. So I thought I don't want anyone else to play that. So I did it. I sort of.
It's fantastic.
I sort of learnt the words, and we had we had an incredible. Well, it was an incredible. The whole journey was incredible. You know, working with people, you know, and then putting on the performance, and you know, which Wilfred Owen's nephew was attended. So incredible from going from nothing up to that was quite a learning curve, really, but felt incredibly supported within the GFMA.
Really. A fit the
framework.
GFMA,
Yes,
not the factory
definitely,
floor,
yeah.
actually.
No, it was welcomed in, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, cups of coffee, sandwiches, you know, looked after. Yeah, and then we did the performance, which was incredible. But I think I might have been a bit naive at the time because I didn't really understand what really was going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
Because as soon as we'd finished the play, I wanted to go straight down the pub. But obviously the stage had to be taken down and all the rest of it. But I didn't know. I was blissfully ignorant to all that.
Lots of actors
I
don't
loved it.
understand
I
that
loved it. I just went straight down the pub and wondered where everyone was. But I now know that
we all join in.
I now know it ain't quite like that. That was my one free. Freak card, I suppose.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you haven't looked back, really, have you?
Well, no.
You've
So
been
thanks
part
to
of-
GFMA and Bob, you know, God bless his soul. It lit a fuse. I did have an idea of doing some stand-up before this. I'd written a script and I was going to jump into it until this, and then I didn't have to anymore. So I think I prefer the stage than stand-up. But
yes, But you've got so many sort of talents. You're multifaceted, aren't you? Multi-talented, and somehow theatre's a good vehicle.
Yes,
for that,
I think so.
Because it's many strands.
Yes,
really.
There's
musical, there's whatever,
yes,
poetry, acting, whereas the stand-up is a particular sort of thing. Once you go down it, people stay down it, don't they?
I think so. I imagine you could, you know, if you get a buzz from it,
absolutely.
It would, you know, I can imagine it's quite addictive.
Yeah, but then all your other talents wouldn't have got fed.
No, not in that way. No.
No.
But,
were you going to read us some?
Oh right.
Through
Right.
Youth, weren't you?
Thank you for that. Yes. So part of the play.
Yeah.
You know, the character also read one of the, you know, most famous of Wilfred Owen's poems, which was an honour to do. I had to read it in the form of this private who couldn't really read that fluently and didn't understand some of the words, but you know, that was part of the character. So
that's a real treat, I think, to have a nice
yes,
poem like that.
Yeah, and James Hadrell gave me some interesting input how to sort of phrase it and present it. So here it is, Anthem for Doomed Youth. What passing bowels for these who die as cattle? Only the monstrous anger of the guns. Only the stuttering rifles, rapid rattle, can patter out their hasty horizons. No mockeries now for them, no prayers nor bells. nor any voice of mourning save the choirs, the shrill, demented choirs of wailing shells, and bugles calling them from sad shires. What candles may be held to speed them all, not in the hands of boys, but in their eyes, shall shine the holy glimmers of goodbyes. The pallor of girls' brows shall be their pall, their flowers the tenderness of patient minds, and each slow dusk a drawing down the blinds.
Very beautifully read, and it is an amazing poem, isn't it? So you were just saying there, I was just before you read the poem, that you had, that there was even some help with how to read the poem and to bring
Yes,
that
that last bit actually,
Yes.
the drawing down the blinds, just
how to do that. and bring it
just
down.
actually just break that down
Yes,
and sort of verbally
yes.
illustrate
Yeah, I could hear
the
that.
idea
That
of
was
that,
lovely.
you know. And I tried to do some, there's alliteration there as
Yes.
well, and just the anger,
Yes,
you know,
you
and
did
the
it perfectly.
stuttering of the.
It was lovely.
So I can imagine that's obviously
Yes,
what was, you know, there were the sounds that he was obviously used to
yes.
hearing.
And there's something here, I think, listening to you about, you know, GFMA providing that sort of education. So it wasn't
Yes.
just throwing you in; it was
Oh, well,
bringing
yeah,
in
we-
what was needed.
And we were down Woolwich Barracks as well. We, you know, we
the
had
research bit was there.
research bit that was
Yeah.
there. We had to, you know, do the parade ground and, you know, get, you know, thumb down the side, seam of the
It was
trousers,
fantastic.
long way up, short way down. Yeah, being shouted at.
It really makes a difference
Yes,
to
yeah. Well, that just
overall quality somehow.
and that clip that was shown earlier, when Private Jacko, who I played, he's up on a charge of insubordination. I mean, I could have been shot at dawn.
Yes, yes.
But I was let off because it was,
Yes.
you know, I was probably going to be shot in the battle. So it was, you know, fit for the battle floor. I think, as a lot of privates probably were, you know, cannon fodder.
absolutely, cannon fodder.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's been quite an education for you.
Oh,
really, being
extremely,
in
and you
GFMA.
know, and I didn't know a great deal about Wilfred Owen.
No.
I didn't, you know, that education. I didn't know a great deal about Shakespeare. A lot of literary stuff we didn't do it at school.
No. But it doesn't matter, does it? Because
No,
you
no.
can come to these things as an
But-
adult, and,
Yeah,
and I think probably GFMA is great for that.
Yes,
for
yes.
that sort of bringing
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the wider depth
Yes,
and knowledge
yes,
and
yeah, yeah.
what's needed.
definitely. And doing your own research.
Yes.
Into and, you know, I think that's it brings it all together. That
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
absolutely.
No, and it just the freedom to do it. I wasn't really directed that, you know,
rigidly.
rigidly. It was quite just, you know,
Yeah.
just you know, if you're going to bit over the top or rein it in a bit, or
Guided. Yeah.
guided, yeah, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't,
Yes.
you know, deflate someone.
No, because
Yeah.
that's how you develop your own, isn't it? It's how
Yeah.
you're coming into.
Mm,
You have a sense of something yourself, and a good director brings that out,
exactly.
as opposed to tells you what to do.
Yeah, without micromanaging, I think that can, because you get in the head too much. then.
Yes, I agree.
You get too, and it's
Yeah,
not about
yeah.
get out the head.
No, absolutely. You do that research, and then
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
find the bit for
Exactly,
you.
and then
Yeah.
you take over. You do it sort of automatically in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We've got more videos, I think.
Right.
Have we? I think we're on to a video.
This is
Troubled.
You're on? No, video again.
Yeah. What was you like? Okay, what's it
You want to say what it is, or should we talk about
Let's-
it? Let's it, and then we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Oh, hang on a sec, sorry. Yeah.
I just sit here and read.
No, I need to go back to the beginning, sorry.
Like a lost tale in days of yore. Please tell me, what's the score?
When trouble makes the troubadour.
Sighs of lives. So you mean when travelling so far, bleeding wide, you always end up on your own?
Yeah, but I get out of my emotion. I get high.
My place in life no longer show. We're placed for those far better meaning. I just sit here and read.
Sad and shocking loss of one of our most popular regulars last time. And with a song in their heart and words in their rhyme.
I'm into that then.
Yes. Oh, excuse me, Joe.
Yeah, trouble meets the troubadour. So after finishing off, after we finished Bob's playing,
Yes.
it was sort of, oh, well, what do I do now? Or what can I do now? And then I saw that there were courses being run at the London Theatre, which is this, sounds grand, but it was a dingy basement, a theatre room up in New Cross. But they did a series of evenings. It was just a whistle stop, course about acting, really, stage acting, which was very informative. I dragged Sam along with me, Sam Burridge, who was playing guitar there.
Yes.
And I remember the main advice that come out of it at the end was like, to get over any copyrights or whatever, you're better off writing your own material and putting it on. So I did that. I saw an article in, I can't remember the paper, but it was about I think it's called Boys Don't Cry. That's why we used the Cure song there. And it was just about, men not opening up and talking, and and it was related to a pamphlet produced by the Samaritans about sort of increasing suicide for men of a certain, and for older men as well. Yeah. So I had this idea of having two characters. I'm thinking about it now. These two characters were a bit yin and yang. They were yin and yang.
Yes.
So me and Sam, I was the older, sort of cynical bloke, and Sam was the sort of young, naive whippersnapper sort of thing.
Yes, yeah.
But then we meet and sort of learn from each other, and then we have different characters with Jim and Alice. And we performed it at the New Cross, the London Theatre.
Yes.
For a theatre festival they had, and it was tremendous. I mean, you were so close to the audience, you could smell what they'd eaten for dinner that night. And then it was a real buzz, so we wanted to perform it again, and then we had the opportunity to do it at Mycenae House.
Oh, brilliant.
And I ended up writing an extra part for Alice and a song, so I'd written the songs and verse in it as well.
Yes, yeah.
And then we performed it at Mycenae House, and musicians as well. My brother was in it, Claude, Louisa, I think Alice, and maybe Jill. This is when you start learning of what goes on behind the scenes and what goes on in front of the stage. So, so we performed it, and it was great. Yeah, it was a great night. And yeah, it was a learning experience as well. So,
absolutely.
I think it can be quite difficult if you've written and performing and sort of maybe helping with the directing and can be quite a lot actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, another steep learning curve, but yeah, tremendous.
But all
Yeah.
of it kind of progressing and building on your
Yes.
skills, really,
Yes,
and
yeah.
using the skills you've got, but bringing them in and.
Yeah, I mean, it's great seeing others perform. I mean, Alice did the song, and I brilliant. I love watching it again when I hear it, and Jim's performance as well. You know, it's great when
Yes.
people get what you're on about, and then they develop it. That's what you know. It's no longer yours in a way.
No,
It's the
no.
cat's. You know, it's out of the bottle, and
Mm,
yeah. So they go off and develop the character, and
yes. With the essence of it being
yeah,
the thing that that triggers you to want to write it.
yes,
You know, like everyone has something they want to say when they want to play any writer. You know, finding that with someone else's. Play.
yes,
You
yes.
know, what is it that someone is trying to say is the essence that drives it somehow?
Yeah.
You explained that at the beginning. It was that stuff you read and the research.
Yes, yeah.
There's the essence of it.
Yeah.
The rest of it comes around
Exactly. Yeah.
to explore that issue.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it just, and once you start writing it, you just play it out in your head, and it sort of comes together. It's,
Yes.
once you got the nub of the idea and the sort of motivation, I find the writing's quite easy then. And you can just play it out in your head. Think, oh, do I need another character here? Or was that maybe they should be doing this or that? And it just sort of, it's like watching it on TV in your head.
Yes.
And then.
So you start with a core and then you add the bits in
Yeah.
as it
Yeah.
goes.
Well, that was just going to be a two-person one, but that's quite difficult actually.
Then
So
it needed
the more
more.
characters you have in it. Yeah. Well, I remember because my characters were going to be sitting down through the whole lot, through the whole near enough hour. And I thought, the energy's too low for me. I said, I need to get up and do something. So I said, maybe I'd go off to the toilet or something. So then Louise had this great idea. They're gonna, I forget who it was. They poured water into a bucket whilst they was mic'd up, so it sounded like I was emptying my bladder like an elephant. And then as Jim comes on, and it's like, what's going on here? So
yeah,
and it's very much breaking the fourth wall and sort of, I think audiences, I think, that wakes them up anyway.
You've got to hold an
They
audience
can't
as
fall,
well. Yeah,
can't fall asleep when that's sort of going on.
That sounds fantastic. Oh, we've got another video, haven't we? I love it, all these videos.
Yeah, well, it saves the voice.
It sort of lets us sort of see,
Yeah.
we can talk about it. When we see it, it means a lot more, doesn't it? Talk about it again.
Okay, I'll organise an emergency meeting with all our regulars as soon as possible.
But that will only leave us 1 month to say SOC stock it to them and save our chickie.
1 month?
Walked around, not when the chips are down.
If you do not open this door and stand out of our way, then we will be forced to force the door down and have you all evicted. So hey ho, let's go. Hit it, Hank. Give me a beat. The bigger beat you get the blue.
No, it's not down the back passage.
Oh, not for much longer. We're on. Stop! Back it in! Right, goodbye then, Mr. Fish and Chips. It seems you have something here worth much more than money.
Yes, we have a real community that really cares.
There's only one thing you really need to say.
That's when it's down. So I forget where I forget where that come from. I think I wanted to create something bit of the ambience of, remember the TV, the American sitcom Cheers.
Yes.
So sort of somewhere you go where one knows your name, sort of thing. It's and then have some sort of social message with it. So that the idea of that the property developer wanted to buy the fish and chip shop. So and making it a community effort to sort of stand up to him. So that I asked Richard, Richard Evans,
yes,
who was he's brilliant as Wilfred Owen in Bob's film play. So I asked him to direct it. I was supposed to be co-director, but I think you really need to let someone do their thing. And yeah, we got a group of the actors together, and I wanted to get it right. So we probably did rehearse for too long, but everyone was keen. So I actually want to thank yeah, I think they did, you know. But so I want to thank everyone who actually took part in that, because I think again sometimes you get too in your head when you're the writing and you're doing this and you're doing that. So I thank everyone again who took part in that and anything else I've written. You know, put their effort and energy and creativity into it. It's makes it a lot easier. And so we had more characters in that, and we had I'd written a song which Ellie she sang, and Jasmine John obviously got it. Who was a real star. And he was always the first in this building. He'd be here. He'd be waiting for me to come and open up. Every time he'd be the first there with his bags full. And it must have been about 10 weeks we rehearsed for. And he never learned one line. In the whole of it, he never learned one line. But he could do his poems like, you know, like you know, the West End performer. So then I think, I don't know, Jill or Louisa's idea to put the script inside a magazine, because he could just sit there.
Very clever.
And so I went down, I went looking for a magazine, and then I saw it, Planet Rock. Because he's like supposed to be like an ex sort of heavy metal.
So it was perfect.
Yeah, so we industrially stapled it into the centre of Planet Rock, and he just sat there all throughout, and but he fed us lines as well, so it worked. And
because he had the script.
He had the script, so you know, if there was actually a pause, he could come in and.
It's a very good idea.
And I don't think anyone really noticed or cared, so it didn't really matter.
No.
But when he come up to do his part, I mean, he's a legend, and it really, really made it. Yeah. So that was it was great fun actually.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
When you watch a playback, something like that, do all those stories just sort of come back to you because you're?
And you can remember different things.
Yeah. The joy of it.
Yeah. Well, another thing that night, it was the 8th. I think it was the 18th of May. So it was 2017. So it wasn't that long ago, and it was in May. But that night, I'm a Coventry City fan.
Yeah.
They were actually playing the second leg of the playoffs to get into the playoff final. And so I don't know if you saw there's a scarf, Coventry City scarf, as the backdrop.
Yes.
So I was actually, before I go on stage, I'm on trying to find out what the score is. And I think we were 2-1 up, so I come on, and then I threw it at Sam. He's the next person on. And I just threw it at him. I said, "Oh, Coventry, you 2-1 up or something." And he was like, "Well, yeah." But he it didn't take him long just to say something. But that was great. So that I remember that as well. It was
Fantastic.
And we had chips we had the aroma of chips in the building. We did a deal.
That's the best bit.
Yeah. We did a deal with the local chippy, and we took a promo picture outside of the chip shop with Jazzman in his heavy bags, and it was something like, "Hey, Mister, do you want another portion? Do you want a large portion?" That was it, a bit like a saucy seaside thing. "Hey, Mister, do you want a large portion?" And Jazzman says, "No, I've already got 2 heavy bags or something." No, my bags are full up already. Or something. I forget the tagline, but it was like, yeah. Again, I think if things are meant to be, they happen.
Yes.
You know. Yeah, it was fabulous. It would have been great. It was. I remember putting the stage. This is learning about. There's a bit more than just acting. I remember I had to help put the stage up at 12 o'clock that day. And I was actually knackered by the time I got on stage, and people asking you questions. So that's why you can see you really need a dedicated director or someone and the structure of it. But that's all learning process.
Absolutely.
But that adds to it as well. I mean, someone just on the night said, "Oh, do you mind if we say this? It sounds funnier." If it sounds, go with it. It's a flexible thing, there's something else a couple of things that changed. Because I said to Richard, "You can't do that," but it sounded like I was swearing. So we actually played on that a bit. Can't. You calling me a can't? Anyway,
You didn't realise until you...
Well, we did, and then we really went for it on the night. But yes, that's the beauty
swiftly
of it.
on.
So,
tell us about the pantomime.
Well, the panto was actually pre that.
Oh, right.
I mean, but that was another incredible experience, and that was another thing that just sort of came together. When the will's there and there's good energy, absolutely. And it all comes together. Because we lost our leading lady, or we didn't have one, and then this lady Louisa got hold of someone last minute, and she didn't learn the script fully. We didn't have to staple it into a magazine for her, but she looked the part, and it didn't really matter what she fully said. She knew the gist of it, and she got, and we could support her because we knew our part, and she was amazing.
Fantastic.
Leading boy, yeah. I can't. We've never seen her again, I don't think. It's just
like
come from nowhere, like an angel, just arrived on cue just when we needed her, and the costumes. I went to there used to be a fancy dress place up the road, and I went there asking for what they had, and they didn't really have a great deal, a few accessories and whatever. And then they said, "Well, my local church is just about to throw out a load of stuff. Would you be interested in taking a look?" So we went up, and there was rails of it, and we everything and more. I mean, if we could have stored it, we'd have probably taken a lot. And so we had all the wigs and all the dresses, and and I mean, it was absolute chaos in a way. I remember, and we did it at Chelton Church. What was it? Assembly rooms.
Oh, I know.
Which is perfect stage.
Yes.
Yeah, and the curtains. But backstage was absolute chaos. we had half the audience trying to come in, and at one point it was and people chit, and
that was fun.
But it all come together and worked, and everyone, again took on board their part, and and we did it over a long weekend. I mean, once you're up to speed, you could. I mean,
you can just go.
Ideally, you could, that's how they make the money.
Yes.
You could have gone for weeks really, but we didn't. But it was great fun, absolutely. And it was well attended, really, wasn't it? We got local sponsors, and it was a real community thing.
Yeah, fantastic, isn't it?
And it'd be good to do again. I made it about actually the story was an original story,
Right,
but based on, you know,
yes.
the usual goings on in a pantomime. But I had it, the leading boy was actually a refugee who had come. Well, we didn't know fully her backstory, but she's ended up with the wicked stepmother and the ugly sisters, and been made to sort of scrub floors. I mean, it was
Yeah.
based on sort of maybe modern slavery.
Yeah, reality.
So that, yeah, so that was the basis of it. But also there's redemption at the end of it, and yeah, it had
You
quite a
have
lot.
themes here, don't you, all the way through that are about community and
Yeah,
people and things that, you know, issues that matter.
I think
is
so, yeah.
what I pick up
Yeah,
from what
yeah.
you've
But
done.
I don't like preaching. I think that's
No.
I just subtle and, you know, maybe make people
Yeah, make
think
people
a bit.
think, yeah.
And you know, if you
Absolutely.
can also, you know, come together and have some communal, you know, sharing of laughter. I mean, there's nothing better.
No.
It's and we had some sing songs and new side written some songs. So then we had Chris Harrison who put it all together, arranged this. I mean, I'd written the songs and I had them in my head, but I'm not a musician, so he had to suffer my singing to be able to translate it and arrange it on the keyboards. And then we had other musicians as well. So there was drummers, Lady Louisa on the drums, and I forget who, we had a musical section as well, songs, and then we went out. Jugglers. We had Chinese lantern.
Fantastic.
And we had a rooster, and we had, it was the year of the rooster, and we had a violin playing shark.
As you do.
Yeah, playing Jaws.
Of course.
As I was about to walk the plank, pleading for my release.
Brilliant.
So there was a lot there actually.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. We've got some footage. We'll have to try and. We were going to do it. We were going to do it again, but then lockdown happened, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So it got shelved. But it could be adapted again for another time.
Are we going to hear some more poetry?
Oh,
Some
yeah.
Because
Am I
we've only
waffling?
had one
Am I
of yours.
waffling?
Not at all, but I think we'd like to hear the poetry. Because what I'd like to do in a while, after you've done the poems, you know, whatever you want to do, we'll move to the audience. I hope you've been enjoying this, actually. I certainly have here.
Are they
And
still
if you've
awake?
they are awake. I
Okay.
can see them. If they've got questions, wave to the audience. Wave to the lovely. If they've got questions, you know, think them up now, because when we've had these poems, we're going to open the floor up to you to ask some questions, because there's been a lot here, hasn't there? Lots of things to find out more about.
I can give you two short ones.
Yeah, that might be nice, and
Shall we
then we
just
can
do-
move into questions.
They're slightly different.
How unusual for you.
So this first one was observations. It's called A Nature of London. It's observations of nature in London, as the title says. But maybe more on a maybe that's a slightly darker side. It ended up sounding a bit Dylan Thomas-ish, if I'm not blowing smoke on my own bottom. But,
in the style of. That's,
in the style of,
that's
yeah.
fine.
A Nature of London. Violent splashes of survival, thriving through cracks in walls and drab pavement slabs. The city's lungs losing their bark as they choke down its gargling soup. Pigeons dining out on spew left behind by someone who had one too many over their few, whilst the parakeet's sudden startling screech almost knocks small ones off of their feet. The capital fox on the prowl after the wanton sun goes down, with rats on their runs and bats that swoon under a full and gloriously mesmerising metropolitan moon. Then humans who pass by without a care or blink of eye, detached from the very thing that provides with everything, on their driven blinkered course, until finally forced to stop and flag, their timely, fateful hearse. And on the sort of flip side of that, this was inspired by John Cooper Clarke, who I went to see the other week at the Palladium. So it's called Hash Brown Town. I took a trip down Hash Brown Town to take a look around and found everything there was textured triangle with angles rounded and not at all square. Unlike Toblerone Town, where everything is monochrome mocha with sides geometrically true. It was more akin to deep down old Doritos City way, having uneven slopes covered with a crispy golden hue. Milling around downtown Hash Brown Town, everyone gave off a tanning parlour reflective glow, and so wore wraparound shades as well as hard hats, should any flaky masonry fall on those mingling below. I quite like my visit to Hash Brown Town. I may someday soon go back again to take that ride. For apart from the well-weathered worn exterior, they're all really quite soft-centred there inside.
Oh. Oh, thank you so much to Andrew. I'm sure there are lots of questions out there. I have loads myself. Who would like to ask a question? You have to unmute to ask a question though, because we won't hear you. Can't see anyone. Does anyone? Yes, Yemma. Yes, off you go, Yemma.
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Yemma. How you doing?
Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I know.
Looking well.
Likewise.
Ah.
So what's next for you, Andy?
Good question. Well, I've got a couple of things up my sleeve. I've written a short play, which was also written out during lockdown. It's a bit of a farce about two people end up being locked in a hotel room for the whole length of their holiday. And running out of things to do. Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. and there's a bit of a twist at the end.
Okay.
And also, I've written a screenplay. Started written a screenplay about the treatment, about a song I wrote actually, called Bats of Blood. I thought it sounded like a B movie, sort of rock psychobilly. So maybe you could. We'll work it out with Ros. You'll have to get your blue suede shoes on. So maybe that. Yeah, finish that off. And I actually also over lockdown, I wrote a manuscript for a short novel based on partly real, partly embellished. So that's on the shelf. So
you wasted your time in lockdown.
Yeah. So I need to it probably needs a bit more embellishing. And Jim hasn't read it, so I got some positive feedback from him. But yeah, I think it just needs another push.
What a great use of your time though.
So
difficult time.
You've been busy.
So yeah, we'll see. And I've got to read something out at my nephew's wedding, so I've written something for that. So on the flip side, I wrote something for a friend who died last year, but actually, it was quite, it was just about recalling all the sort of stuff we used to get up to, so it was quite, obviously, tragic circumstances, but actually brought back some good memories as well. So, yeah, so there's always something, you know what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty to be writing about.
Isn't there? I know.
There's plenty to be writing about.
But you're fantastic, just to let you know that.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you, Yema. That was lovely. That was a great question and moved us on to look at the future and things, which is brilliant. Are there any other questions? Can't see anybody. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you really wanted to say? Yourself, you know? I'd love to give you time for that.
Thank yous, I've already given my thank yous, but everyone who has taken part in anything I've written or, you know, on stage, behind, on camera, huge thank yous, because sometimes, as I say, you can get into your own head and actually not get over your thank yous, or they may not sound meaningful, but you know, appreciate it. Have a question to the floor.
Yeah, so of all your amazing talents, this is a difficult one to ask. Is there one that you feel the most comfortable in?
Doug Berry.
Performance Berry.
I think, yeah, just not being Andrew. You know, yeah. I think being a character, Doug, on stage, or any character, is...
So acting?
Acting,
yeah.
Performing.
Performing, yeah. I think so, yeah. You can...
Just to mention that you can see some of Andrew's plays.
Yes, I was going to say that, funnily enough, actually. If you go on GFMA's website and GFMA TV, YouTube, sorry, you can go on the, it directs you to it, doesn't it? On GFMA. So GFMA TV, YouTube, there are lots of things on there, but Andrew's plays are definitely on there, so you can have a look. Well, there's lots of nice performance things on there anyway, actually, to have a look at. So I think we're going to sort of end up the evening, and I want to say really, first of all, thank you to Louisa and Jill and the whole GFMA team for putting these wonderful evenings on, and everything else that you do, actually, not just this, but whole, you know, we've been talking about the community and plays about the community, and you're the people that do actually all aspects of work for the community, and tirelessly and fantastically. Also want to talk about, you know, the importance of how we believe that it was important to stay on Zoom, because if we hadn't stayed on Zoom and we'd just gone back, because we used to have these evenings in a pub, didn't we, in Woolwich, and they were great, but so many more people can we reach now. You know, we've had Suzanne come from California, and we couldn't have had all that, and we can still have something live as well. Yeah, and we've had from France as well. I mean, we couldn't be doing that, and we do that with the singing group on Tuesday nights. We have people coming from America and Germany, Athens, and they're on Zoom and we're all live, and it's just a wonderful joining of people, and GFMA have been utterly fantastic at keeping this going and reaching out, and all the other fantastic workshops that go on, free of charge for people. A big thank you to the audience, because without the audience joining us, there wouldn't be anything for us to present or talk about. And a big thank you to everybody who's performed. So we had Mary, we had Chris Shanley, who came in from the cold and spoke to us. We've had Yema, who was absolutely fantastic. We had our newcomer, Frantic Freeverser, do come again. Andrew Lloyd Boyd, we missed him, which was really sad, because he was supposed to join us tonight but was unwell. So I will mention him at this stage, because it's not right just to move somebody out. So he's on my list, so I'm going to say him, wish him well if he's watching this. And Suzanne West for joining us as ever, absolutely wonderful. And our fantastic guest, Andrew or Doug Berry, I think. You've got I have really enjoyed talking with you. It's been a really lovely evening.
Likewise, Ros.
Oh.
We must do it again sometime.
Yes, we will.
Hey, we'll have a sing-song sometime, eh?
We are going to finish with a video. We've got to tell us a bit about the video.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. This was. I did a screen writing course, an acting course. So it's a scene from the character I wrote about called Gus Zatoichi. So Zatoichi was the legendary blind Japanese swordsman.
Oh, yes.
So my thing was Gus Zatoichi was the legendary blind poet with the pen being mightier than the sword. So, and the film called Just Drive was based on Taxi Driver.
Oh,
yeah. Taxi Driver. And so I tried to create maybe a bit of that 70s New York vibe by riding around in the back. It was all set in the stories around a taxi driver driving. So I tried to create a bit of that vibe, that 70s sort of New York vibe, and on the theme of Taxi Driver, you know, when so it's part influenced by that. You know, someday a real rain will come and wash all the scum off the streets, sort of thing. So it's partly got an American accent, it's partly English, but anyway. Over to the video lady.
Thank you for coming, everybody.
Thank you.
Same Streets by Gus Zatoichi. Let me show you something. Come, take me by the hand. We'll grab a cab and go downtown to take a drive around. To see that these same streets are still not so grand, and open your eyes to see what really lies beneath. The cities, deceivingly beautiful, gleamingly thin veneer. Exclusive, high-rise, modern glass-fronted buildings, disparagingly looking down on those still many below rough sleeping. Deviously designed, though, to ensure they don't get too comfortable, as they're looking sightly in the morning for those coming in through them. A gutless jogger, nastily knowing when elbowing over a fellow commuter. Through a bridge he can continue to trundle arrogantly over. The scourge of modern byway robbery by maliciously malevolent moped thieves. After anything they can take, swiping right out of your sleeves. Pushing, chancing, the quickest way of advancing. Life forever pursuing a limited higher end chasing. So you still think you're lonely? Well, they say the loneliest place is in the middle of a crowd. And man, this city can be fast, cold and loud. Especially if you're not part of its inner, invited, selective in crowd. The haves and the have-nots cause from an equal distribution of wealth. Now as the cab pulls over and you go on your way, I do hope you have seen something and with you it will stay. And that your mind's judgment may also be swayed. So that you truly understand that nothing's really changed. And it's just life, for many as ever before, has found. Simply surviving down here on the ground. Yet hope somehow miraculously remains. And it's still not too late for that real rain to someday come and wash the stench of filth from these same streets to make them clean once again.
Film that yourself.
No, that's part of a film. A feature film.
Oh, it's
I
fantastic.
did 11-minute section,
Yes.
and they're all different. Delara's in that. That's how I met Delara, and it's a featured film. So it's all set around.
Yes.
We actually tried to film it on a Friday night, but it's chaos.
Chaos, yeah.
Got a film, camera in there, and you're trying to stop and. So that's actually a Monday night. It's not quite as busy as probably I'd hope. I must say that it was also partly based on the Streets of London
Yes.
by Ralph McTell. So it's an updated version of that in a way as well.
We do sing that and sing.
Oh, you do? Okay. We could do
We do them.
Okay. We could do an updated version,
Yeah.
same streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, thank you so much. It's
Pleasure.
been wonderful having you, and thank
Thank you
you
all.
all the other performers, and thank you everyone at home. It's been lovely.